If you would have invested 10,000 rupees in Wipro shares in 1980, today the same shares would have been worth 600 crores. Wipro, the company, has been one of the main pillars of India's IT revolution. From selling Vanaspati oil and laundry soaps in the early days to becoming one of the largest IT service providers in the world today, Wipro's journey has been nothing short of remarkable. In this episode, we will not only look at the incredible evolution of Wipro, but also the visionary leader behind its success, Azim Premji, also known as the CZAR of the Indian IT industry. Under his leadership over the past 5 decades, Azim Premji has turned a $2 million cooking oil business into a $40 billion multinational conglomerate. Our story begins in Bombay in 1945, where Mohammad Hashim Premji, a leading rice merchant and commission agent, incorporated Western India Vegetable Products Limited. In the same year, his son Azim Hashim Premji was also born. In 1947, colonial India was partitioned into mainly Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, invited Mr. Premji to serve as his finance minister, but the Premjis decided to stay in India due to personal and business reasons. Initially, Mr. Premji's company manufactured cooking oil under the brand name Sunflower Vanaspati and a laundry soap called 787, a byproduct of oil manufacture. Fast forward to 1966, 21-year-old Azim Premji was studying electrical engineering at Stanford University. Unexpectedly, his father Mohammad Premji died at the age of 51. So, Azim Premji had to postpone his graduation and return home to take control of family matters and the company. The major hurdle was to win the confidence of the shareholders. Many people advise young Azim Premji to rather take up a nice comfortable job rather than face the challenge of running a hydrogenated oil business. But he decided to listen to his inner voice and against all odds took responsibility of the company at the age of 21. Throughout the 60s and 70s, Wipro expanded in the Indian market through other consumer care products. Azim Premji re-engineered the company model from a family venture to a trustworthy and stable company. The company's name was changed from Western India Products Limited to Wipro Products Limited in 1977 and further replaced by Wipro Limited in 1982. Throughout this period, he hired some of the best and versatile people for the company. This would turn out to be instrumental because at the end of the 70s, new opportunities were on the horizon. In 1973, the Indian government passed the new Foreign Exchange Regulations Act that capped foreign equity to 40%. All companies with more than 40% foreign equity had to obtain fresh approval from the Reserve Bank of India to continue their operations after required inquiries and paperwork. And this wasn't acceptable to IBM. After all, IBM was basically selling used and obsolete mainframe computers in India at inflated prices. This way, it kept the Indian market 1 or 2 generations behind the latest. And after a series of events, IBM eventually had to give in and leave the Indian market. Around 1980, Azim Premji recognized the importance of the emerging IT field. He took the advantage of the vacuum left behind the expulsion of IBM and thus entered the high technology sector by starting production of mini computers in technological collaboration with American computer company Sentinel Computer Corporation. Wipro took advantage of India's large pool of engineers and developers, and throughout the 80s and 90s, Wipro expanded into software development and IT services in India and abroad. And thus, Azim Premji made a calculated shift from soaps to software. Thanks to substantial increase in technology stocks, Wipro's value skyrocketed in the 90s and Azim Premji became one of the richest entrepreneurs in the world. During the 80s and 90s following India's economic deregulation, Wipro diversified both in India and abroad in a variety of industries, from hydraulic and heavy-duty cylinders to lightings and electronics to hair care, talcum powder and baby products. In a joint venture with General Electric in 1989, they set up Wipro GE Medical Systems Private Limited to manufacture and sell diagnostic and imaging products. In 1999, Wipro acquired Wipro Acer and launched the Wipro Super Genius Personal Computer Series. Then, they partnered with Royal Dutch Telecom to provide internet services in India and thus providing an integrated computer experience for the Indian user. In a recent interview, when asked about this aggressive and versatile expansion, Azim Premji jokingly replied that it was very fashionable to diversify in those days, and also we were observing the markets closely. It's interesting to point out that in 1999, Azim Premji approached Stanford to allow him to complete his remaining degree by a distance learning arrangement, which he had to leave in 1966. And thus, in 1999, Mr. Premji officially graduated from Stanford University at the age of 54. Wipro was listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 2000. And in 2002, Wipro became the first Indian software technology and services company to be ISO certified. In the past 2 decades of the 21st century, the main reasons for Wipro's growth has been its strategic acquisitions and subsidiaries. In 2004, Wipro partnered with Intel for iShiksha. In 2007, they signed a deal with American defense and security company Lockheed Martin and also signed an R&D partnership contract with Nokia Siemens Networks in Germany. The same year, Wipro also acquired InfoCrossing for $600 million. In 2009, Wipro bought the iconic British personal care brand Yardley of London under the Enterprise division. After much planning in 2012, Wipro demerged its consumer care, lighting, furniture, and infrastructure engineering business all into a separate private company as Wipro Enterprise Limited. In 2013, Opus Capital Markets Consultants was acquired, and in 2014, Wipro signed a $1.2 billion deal with ATCO, a Canadian energy and utilities corporation. In 2016, Wipro signed a deal for $500 million to acquire two companies, Appirio, an IT consulting firm, and Topcoder, a crowdsourcing company having a global community of data scientists, developers, and programmers and designers. In the same year, they also acquired Healthland Services for $400 million. There are many other acquisitions, and the list is beyond the scope of this single video. Their recent acquisition has been Capco, a 22-year-old British tech consultancy firm which Wipro acquired for $1.5 billion in 2021. Today, Wipro is known for its IT services and consulting and BPO services. They provide testing, research, and development of software and hardware to various industries like finance, telecom, media, energy, utilities, defense, and entertainment. And not to forget, Wipro enterprise products are staple in Indian homes. In 2019, Azim Premji stepped down as executive chairman and managing director of Wipro Limited. He made his eldest son, Rishad Premji, the executive chairman who had been working at Wipro for past 10 years, and he appointed CEO Abhitari Nimushwala to be the managing director. Although he is one of the most successful businessmen in India today, he is better known for something else, philanthropy. In 2001, he founded the Azim Premji Foundation, a non-profit organization with primary focus on improving the education in India. In 2013, he agreed to give away half of his wealth by signing the Giving Pledge. He is the first Indian and third non-American to join this philanthropic club. And as of today, he has done much more than his commitment. Today, his personal net worth would have been above $31 billion, but instead it stands around $9 billion because he has already given away around $22 billion to philanthropic cause. He has a very interesting philosophy regarding wealth. He says wealth is a trusty ship, it cannot be owned, and those of us who are privileged to it should contribute significantly to try and create a better world for the millions who are far less privileged. In May 2020, the Azim Premji Foundation collaborated with the government agencies for augmenting testing infrastructure to fight the coronavirus pandemic. Due to his work, Azim Premji has been honored with many notable titles and accolades. As he is slowly relocating his responsibilities at Wipro, he is focusing his attention more towards philanthropy, addressing new issues of the Indian society, and working steadily to make the world a better place.